Hello sports fan, this is Stephen Hill for JustMyPicks.com, and I'm bringing you a special NFL breakdown video. I'm going to be covering the hot debate that's about to happen and take the country by storm. Is Jimmy Graham a tight end or a wide receiver? A lot of people coming into Jimmy Graham's career didn't know what he could do out of the University of Miami, but since becoming a part of the New Orleans Saints, he's done a pretty darn good job of being a great tight end. He was drafted as a tight end. He's been to the Pro Bowl as a tight end. He's got tight end awards and accolades. When it comes down to it, Jimmy Graham may be getting the franchise tag. The New Orleans Saints want to minimize how much they have to pay him. And his camp is saying, hey, look, you can franchise tag me, but franchise tag me as a wide receiver, not as a tight end. He has some of the stats to back that up, and most of the time, 56% of the time, Jimmy Graham was on the field as a wide receiver. Look at the routes that he's running currently. He doesn't run certain routes of a tight end all the time, or even most of the time. He plays mostly as a wide receiver or a stretch tight end, which is a hybrid wide receiver. Looking at some of the schemes, he's big, physical, tall, 6'5", 6'6", in that range. He does a lot of difficult things. The Saints, Mickey Loomis, is the general manager, is talking about how, yes, they drafted him as a tight end. Yes, he fits the scheme for tight ends and things like this. But the way that the NFL is going, the tight end is becoming the wide receiver. You look at New England when they did have an Aaron Hernandez. The way that they use Gronk as a wide receiver. Even though he's a tight end, he has the capabilities and the speed to keep up as a wide receiver. You're looking at some of the different players like an Antonio Gates who can get into the wide receiver slot. You're looking at Tony Gonzalez that is about to retire, that played so many years as a tight end, but he was doing things that wide receivers do. So when it comes down to it, there's a big debate over whether he should be paid, which the franchise tag for tight ends is about $6 to $7 million, and you're looking at wide receivers, it's about $10.5, $11 million. That's a big difference. So Jimmy Graham wants his paper. He wants to be paid. He wants to be paid wide receiver type money in general, not just from the franchise tag standpoint, but in his years and his dollars that he's looking for long term. Let's face it, if you're the Saints, you cannot afford to lose Jimmy Graham. Because Drew Brees is such a dynamic quarterback and he's getting up there in age, you want to keep vested weapons around him at all points in times. You don't want him losing a Jimmy Graham. You don't want Jimmy Graham unhappy and also not performing at his best either. Pay that man that money. Jimmy Graham has come. He has went and played hard each and every game. Even though he gets injured sometimes, he still is a warrior out there playing. So what you have to do if you're the Saints, you have to play hardball a little bit. You may have to break Jimmy Graham down some. You may have to negotiate some things that you didn't want to negotiate. But at the end of the day, Jimmy Graham, in my belief, is a tight end. When he in his camp talks about, oh, he's a wide receiver, that remains to be seen. If you want certain things to go that way, then refuse to be put in a tight end position. Refuse to really run certain routes or do certain things. And that'll force New Orleans' hand to not only trade you, cut you, or do something to that point. But when it comes down to it, you're a tight end, Jimmy Graham. And a lot of people that I've been talking to say, oh, he's a wide receiver. Yeah, if wide receivers was tight ends, then cool. That's the fact. But he was drafted as a tight end. He's made it to the Pro Bowl as a tight end. He's made All-Pro as a tight end. So when at the end of the day, I think this trumps the debate. When Mickey Loomis, I know that they used Graham as a wide receiver more than a tight end for a lot of plays, because a simple fact, I use it as an example. Tight ends are normally made to block. Because Jimmy Graham can't really block, he doesn't really be on the field during run plays. But when it comes down to it, when he's on the field for passing plays, he's lining up as a tight end. No matter what route you run, if you line up in a tight end position where you're on the edge of either line, whether it's left side near the tackle or the right side near the tackle, you're still a tight end. Wide receivers don't line up right next to tackles. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, Jimmy Graham, you're a tight end. I want to know what you guys feel. Do you feel like the Saints should pay him as a wide receiver or a tight end? Do you feel like New Orleans is being cheap about the situation? Let me know what you guys feel. Leave your comments in the section below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button in your right corner. Subscribe so you can check out all of our work each and every week that we have it. Breaking news here. Check me out at JustMyPicks.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at JustMyPicksTV. You can also check me out on YouTube, YouTube.com/JustMyPicksTV. Thank you very much for subscribing and commenting, and please share my videos in your sports group. Thank you very much.